And that was the one with got the drug enhancement and everything else.
Oh. They must have taken that off.
But he was his grandson, that was his grandson that lived, a lot of people don't know that, they used to come to come and visit his aunt still once in a while.
Rhein, Ryan, is that how it was pronounced? Rhein.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I didn't know it was called, I thought it was Rhine, so I've been saying it wrong. Okay, well.
Said Tom Ryan, I mean, I was little when he was chief.
Yeah, Tom Ryan, yeah. All right, let's get started.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay.
We're gonna have pictures, I like.
Yes, I have pictures. Some of them are really good and distinct, and some of them are third hand, so I apologize. But as I said, this is based on Bremer's book that only went up until around 2000 and I think 6 or something. So I tried to fill in with some more from the Facebook page, but I thought really we want to know about the history, not current things. And some of this we'll find out is history repeating itself a little bit. So we also have gone back further than the police department's beginnings with some of the writings from Guy Rochto. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Why is my...
I never even saw Bremer's book.
There we go. Okay. So we know that the police force started in 1924, 100 years ago. But prior to that, we did not have a police force. We had constables. So this is what Guy had written about. Right. That's a picture of one of the constable's badges. There were several. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't see anything. I just see the owl.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Hang on a minute.
I want to learn about the police.
Says I'm screen sharing. Huh. Maybe because I have that off.
Oh, no, I see you. I see you.
You see me.
Yes.
But I don't want you to see me. I want you to see my screen.
I want to see the big audience either.
Oh, you know what? Here, okay. I just hit I just hit something and it came up with Passaic Township.
All right. Okay, the constables.
Yep.
But
okay.
Let me take myself off because I'm distracting myself. Can you still see me?
No, well, I minimized you.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, we'll leave it on. Okay. All right. So the constables were based on a British system. Basically, the idea was that they knew their community well. They lived within the small villages. And they were the only law enforcement around for the community to use because larger law enforcement was further away. So they were mediators and peacekeepers, enforcers and protectors. I just wanted to highlight two. Constable Amadi High, who served for 40 years, worked past 75 years old. He was a farmer in Myersville. And he was notable for two things. He captured Antoine LeBlanc. He brutally murdered the Sayer family in Morristown. I guess information went out about this man, and he researched, found out what taverns that he frequented, and he sat outside the tavern until he got him. He also was involved in the Tory trial in 1891. Tory had been a assayer, a U.S. assayer, and he was in a little bit of a broil with one of the reverends here in Sterling. And then I forget the name of the Reverend Dill. And he started to harass Reverend Dill. And he started threatening him. It got nasty. So High was the one who had, caught a lot of the evidence, and he was involved in the trial. Some of the charges were dropped, but they did get Tory on some of those things. And then Constable Melee in 1894, this one was great. He caught August Bergerman. August Bergerman killed his brother Julius over inheritance money, and he went to the Sterling Hotel. and he sat at the Sterling Hotel bar, and he bragged about killing his brother. He had come in from the West. He was one of the Western, old holdouts. He still carried his gun outside. The laws were a little different then. And he was bragging to everyone. So somebody came out of the bar and told Constable Melee. Constable Melee went and sat outside the Sterling Hotel and waited until Bergerman came out and arrested him. So simple. The interesting thing about constables is that this law in New Jersey was still on the books until January of this year. And it was only just now the governor brought the era to a close and closed down that you can't have constables anymore. You have to have a formal police department. Okay. Now it's tricky for me to figure out how to get this to go. Okay. So having constables at this point, in 1923, something major happened. And these were old maps of the township. So you can see Millington Post Office over here in Millington. You'll see the Myersville Long Hill Post Office was the major one for Myersville, Gillette. There was the Sterling Post Office, but we also had land in Passaic Township that went up to Pleasant Plains and into Harding Township. So eventually this land was changed, these borders were changed. And once the land of Harding Township was split, we got a portion of it for Passaic Township, the rest went to Harding to create their own township. So they developed a 3-person township committee for Passaic Township. Their main focus was working on road conditions, but unfortunately for them, what started to happen was people were still upset about this, still upset about the borders, still upset about where are their kids going to go to school. And we had the Millington Schoolhouse. They wanted to create a bigger school in Sterling. And because of that, there was a lot of unrest going on. A lot of people yelling at each other, threatening some of the constables, especially when Millington decided they were going to pull away and they wanted to make their own borough. So when that happened, that's when those 3 township committee members said, we need to have a real police force. So due to that growing unrest, on August 9th, 1924, which would have made more sense to have the 100-year anniversary on in the middle of the summer, the Passaic Township Police Department was formed. And the first chief before Ryan was Charles Erler. He was a carpenter, but he was also known for his baseball skills. And he had been working as a previously unpaid constable. So there was a paid constable, but there was volunteers that would help, kind of like our volunteer fire department. He only served 3 years because he didn't want to do it anymore. He worked from home, and the only thing he was given to patrol was a 1920 Harley Davidson. Then came from 1927 to 1952, Chief Thomas Ryan. He worked out of his home as well. His wife was the dispatcher using their home phone. His attic was the evidence room. And whenever he was out on patrol and she got a call, she would shine a big, large ship searchlight, a red one, on Long Hill Road, so he would see it. He also patrolled in the 1920 Harley Davidson until 1932, when they got the first official, not very clearly marked, police car. And he was known for growing the department to include special police officers. That name, special police officers, actually was a function of the police department, and it continued until 1953. This was his first car in 1932, a Chevrolet, and that's him behind the wheel. In the Great Depression, they abolished the police chief's role. So the banks put the pressure on the township committee, those 3 members. I don't know if it was a financial issue. I'm assuming so. No. But in 1934, there was a new mayoral election, and the mayors, one of them was running on the fact that we don't need this, and the other one said, I'm going to put it back, and he's the one that won. So they hired Chief Police Ryan back. So he retired, and when he retired, that was when the the township committee decided they didn't need another police chief. The police force would report to them. Sounds familiar, right? So it was led by the mayor. But then again, another election, and they said, no, we need a police force. And the community rose up and said that we want a police chief. So in 1954, a full-time officer who had worked under Chief Ryan was promoted to lieutenant after Ryan retired. So when they went without the police chief, he was completing his 6-week basic training at the police force, and then was appointed chief on January 1st of 54. 4 days after his promotion to chief of police, he was involved in a shooting. There was someone who was reported of being escaped from a hospital. Who?
Lions Hospital.
Oh, Lions Hospital. And he went looking for him. He found him. He did not intend to shoot him to kill. He wanted to warn him. He fired warning shots. He shot him in the leg, is what he was aiming for. It didn't, it missed, it got him in the heart. So there was an investigation. He immediately turned in his weapon, gave his information. It went to trial. He was found to be a reasonable shooting of what he had to do. He was also known for running into burning buildings 2 times to save people. He saved 2 boys who fell through the ice at Sterling Lake, which I had talked about in my Sterling Lake. I think one of his sons was one of the ones who actually had fallen in the lake.
Roughly, son.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, you see that place where right in that picture was taken?
Yeah,
I was shit off the back of his garage.
yes.
We used to play in the backyard all the time.
Well, he was known for changing the uniform to include a 10-gallon hat. He liked the cowboy hat. He thought it would mark the what do you call it? Much later, not right then. I'll show you those pictures too.
That was funny, big cowboy hat.
There's 2 cowboy hats. So we'll see. Well, when I get into uniforms, we'll look at them.
Oh, you know, you're wrong.
Yeah. He updated the rules and regulations, which is interesting because there was nothing written down. So he was part of that. And he finally got approval for a police building.
Was in his kitchen.
No. They actually built one.
No. The first one was in his
Oh, the first one was in his kitchen. Okay. So here he is with his first Ford Vic, Crown Vic, 1955. At his Main Avenue residence, which doubled as is the headquarters for the police. All right, that was the first police station that was built in Myersville.
Okay, that's
So it's interesting to me when I look at the history of, I grew up in Myersville, of how much Myersville was so important. And now it's kind of like, look down, oh, you're over there.
but they sold most of it off to the Great Swamp.
Right. So that was the first police station. And then under Chief Dolan, it moved from Myersville to the basement of Elm Street School, which was that Sterling school that they built. And this is the picture of the entrance to the basement, that white shed there door with an unmarked police car in 1962.
We wouldn't have a problem today if they would stay here.
Right, with the flooding, yes. Chief Dolan was the only officer on the Long Hill Police Department to have been considered to have died on duty. He had been involved in a domestic dispute and then had a heart attack after that. So this was from 1996 when they honored his passing. There's a plaque still there at the current police station. And they had badges on their cars, end of watch, recognizing him. And they did these challenge coins to commemorate his passing. Then it moved to Chief Howard Runyon. So he was from 1966 to 86.
I don't have any older pictures of when Chief Ryan was chief and that special. I have a picture of one of my uncles was one of Ryan's specials.
We'll look through the book when I'm done and we'll see. Yeah, one of his special police officers. That's cool. So Runyon had started as a part-time special police officer under Dolan. And he is the one who's credited for bringing it into the modern age. He opened it up to civilian review, public interaction. He wanted the police to be part of the community, involved in not just law enforcement and protection, but also interaction so that people would know who their community policemen were. 2 things. He created the Police Explorers with Lieutenant Falzarano. And under his leadership, the department became the first state accredited police agency with the work of Lieutenant Falzarano. It was really Lieutenant Falzarano who pursued both of those. Here's Police Chief Howard Runyon congratulating Sergeant Joe Nowak. Now, I have pictures of a lot of officers that I would have loved to include. I couldn't get them all in here, but I included Sergeant Joe Nowak in this one because he's there with Chief Runyon, because we'll talk about him in a little bit too. And this was wait, a little space typo there, 1967. The police station that was in Myersville then in the basement of Elm Street School was then relocated to Morris Street at the corner under Chief Runyon. So then you'll see the hats. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
they did very-
And that below is the entire police fleet at that time.
That was under Runyon though, when they moved there.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's when,
Mhm.
that's when the cowboy hats came.
I'll show you. I have pictures.
I sort of remember Chief Dolan had the Moore cowboy hat, like the folded one.
The black
Seems
one.
like I do.
Yeah, I'll show you. I have pictures of from the uniforms. Okay, so in 1978, I included this because it's of interest, under Chief Runyon, Governor Brendan Burns' nephew, Christopher Byrne in Myersville, was killed at the cement factory on Whitebird Road. And the big piece of concrete fell on top of his front end loader. He was killed. But that accident prompted the law to be passed requiring all construction equipment to have safety cages. This was a picture of Sergeant Herlock and Patrolman Alan Kohler, who they both go on to progress in the force, when they found this boa constrictor turned up in, let's see, somebody's home. It had been missing for 3 months and they found it. I thought that was interesting. Okay, so here's Chief Runyon with Captain Paul Keelblock at Central School. And I included this one because I wanted to see Captain Keelblock. This was a Mason dump truck. Oh, I spelled dump truck wrong. Was struck by the train at Northfield Road. That driver survived.
Just to tell you, I was retired second in command in Chatham Township.
Okay, yeah, so everybody must have,
I know,
yeah.
even when the president, Governor Burns'
Nephew
got killed, I was in charge of his security in Chatham Township because he came there because his sister-in-law lived there.
Oh,
So he stayed there a few days.
okay.
So but it's nice that we have them.
There had been another accident at the same crossing prior to this, and 2 had been killed. So this one, when this happened, that was when Captain Keelblock said no. And he spearheaded the installation of the gates under Chief Runyon. So, okay, then Lieutenant Falzerano under Chief Runyon had chartered and founded the first group of police explorers, Post 264. It was chartered in 1979. This is the first group, 1980. To my husband online, can you see Bill? Bill, our friend,
Yep.
godfather to our children, is to the right of the man in the white.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then if you count 4 over from Bill, that's Chris Carney. I believe George Peterson is in here somewhere.
For me in Chatham Township.
That's right.
Supposed to be the chief of police, but after I left, but I don't know what happened there.
He went to teach.
Yeah, but politics.
Yeah.
Politics.
Yeah.
They jumped over, but that's all right.
Well, he's happy what he's doing now.
I haven't seen his brother. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah.
We ended up one of the only guys that ever shot anybody or killed him.
Really?
Right after I left, one of our former chief's daughter's husband killed his kids. Threw them and killed his wife and tried to kill both kids.
Oh, my God.
George was the first one on the scene. And
He saved the kids?
and the kid told the one kid that was still alive, said it was my father. And George was outside and found, on the search for him outside, he came after George with a knife. George, of course, several told him drop his weapon, drop it,
He did.
and knew that what the guy had did, or basically it was probably what you'd call a suicide by cop. But unfortunately, George had to be the bad guy. And but he came through it. I called him even that night, but I was gone, but I retired in 98.
Oh, wow.
But
Well-
he was the only one that ever,
We graduated with George, my husband and I, with Bill, George, and Chris. And then the other picture is Guy Armenti, who was the chief of the Police Explorers. So I included that. Now I believe the Police Explorers, I don't know if I have the other picture. No, I don't. Went through 2011. It was right when our youngest son wanted so badly to be a police explorer. And I was like, can he join? And they're like, no. And I'm like, he's got to wait till 13. And then they ended it.
lost interest for some reason.
Oh,
We had a small post that, had a few kids ourselves and they phased out.
one of the last police explorer groups, right? It was my older son's age, was his best friend, Jonathan, who went on to become a New York State Trooper. So. Then we have Chief Robert Falzerano after Chief Runyon retired. So he took over from 1986 to 2001. Again, he initiated the accreditation process, which was a lot of paper, a lot of policies. He was a published author. I think he had 3 different papers published. He was a graduate and an academic, very focused on education. He completed the extensively new 12-week basic training program at the police academy. He developed firearm training program for the special officers, and he had been awarded multiple commendations.
I don't want to brag, when before he became the special, and he was considering what he should do, and I told him, finish his degree.
Mhm. The 4-year one at that point, or the 2-year? Okay.
Make sure he had that.
Yeah.
You're only 20 years old.
Oh, okay. When you started, you mean?
He became
Yeah.
a full-time police officer.
Yeah.
And that little education, he continued, and in the police service, we went through the academy.
Mhm.
We even got so many credits
Mhm.
for just going through the academy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's,
He finished his 4-year at TCNJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was very impressed. I did not, I knew his family, through school, the children
I
and.
don't know, 5 years old.
Uh.
In kindergarten, she'd walk him up the street to Elm Street School. By the time she got home, he was sitting on the front porch.
He didn't want to go.
Oh, yeah, we always kid him about
Oh,
it.
that's so funny. And he winds up being such an educated academic.
And I could tell you the beatings he got.
Oh.
But no, it used to be fun. She used to walk all the way around. He lived down by the hotel there
Mhm.
on Railroad Avenue. She used to walk him up to school, put him right in the classroom, and by the time she got back, because he could climb the fence, come down the hill over the track.
My,
He
dangerous.
where she was.
Well, he had the police force moved to the current, from Morris to Mercer.
We still don't know why the true story, why it isn't here. Nobody,
I had heard it was because of the jail has to be earthquake proof,
that's now.
but why wasn't it done back when they built it?
Yeah, that's now.
Maybe politics. I don't know.
There's another rumor that there was a couple people on a committee, or at least one person that felt that since it was a park here too, that they didn't want the little children to see police coming in and out with bad criminals and
Oh.
and that was one of the things, I don't know, because it was all planned to be here.
Okay.
Big enough conflict
Yeah,
to put the whole
Yeah.
thing here.
yeah. I think it still should be here, and you'll see. I did include something later. Under Falzerano, we had the first women in the department. The first female officer was Victoria Benson. And then the third female officer in May of 1999 was Officer Alexa Chambrello, who is the officer in charge right now. I believe she should be chief, but that's my opinion. I also wanted to include Mrs. Christina Dixon.
You know, everything.
She served 35 years as secretary to 3 chiefs, Dolan, Runyon, and Falzerano. She had actually, when the department grew under Falzerano especially, she had 3 extra secretaries helping her because it had gotten so big. But 35 years, that's really amazing. So I wanted to include her. And then I wanted to talk about accreditation because I kept hearing about it and I didn't understand what the big deal was. In 1985, again, this was through the work of Lieutenant at the time, Falzarano. We were the first in the state to be accredited. And
That was, and that was a big thing
Yeah.
in the state, because even when we did it over in Chatham, we didn't go to the chiefs. There was another program who, of course, Howard Runyon had his own business that did the exact same thing.
oh,
And we bought it through the county. He sold it to Morris County
okay,
prosecutors, and then each town at that time had to spend $25,000.
wow,
But it was basically the same thing, but it wasn't nationally accredited. What happened too here is Chief Runyon's brother-in-law ended up down as a top of the ladder in the National Chiefs Association in Virginia.
okay.
He went on to be chief of police of what's the big beach in Virginia?
Oh, Outer Banks? No, that's North Carolina. I don't know. I'm not-
Anyway, it's the biggest ocean
Okay,
in Virginia, but he ended up in charge there. But he was the guy that got them, helped Howard get into this.
okay,
And it was a great idea because nobody had this kind of thing.
right. I mean, this basically put all policies in place, everything down on paper, goals to meet, things that you wanted to make sure were efficient and working.
It changes by complexion of the town itself.
You have to have a plan in place for man-made disasters and natural disasters and,
It made room for, you know, discretion, because you had guidelines. If a police officer followed those guidelines, it's hard for an insurance claim.
Mhm.
And it gave you latitude.
right,
And that was one of the biggest things. They were number one in the state.
yeah. And I mean, it basically, it makes it easier to work with the community when you can let the community know, this is what we are doing and this is why we do it. And it's all written down. This is the process we follow and, yeah. So that's what the accreditation was for.
Because even when they got trouble with the, you know, who's gonna be who and everything. else,
Yeah.
the last 2 years, one of the main things that I even brought up with my son's on the committee. And I said, it's gonna affect, without that accreditation, it's gonna affect the GIF insurance.
Oh, yeah.
It helps lessen the pain
Yes, yes.
if they have. it.
Oh, yes, I understand the GIF insurance.
What-
We'll talk about that afterwards. So uniforms, I wanted to give a couple pictures on the uniforms. This was 1924 to 27, and at this time, there really was not an official uniform. This was what Chief Erler had been wearing, and it was pretty much from his army service. So that's Chief Erler there in his uniform. 1927 to 1951, these were the puffy pants, and that was the, I guess, Class A uniform, you call that. And then 1951 to 1963, they start getting a little bit more current, modern looking to what we know now.
Still in Dalton's driveway.
There's Officer Jerry Diamond. I think that's his daughter he's crossing to. And that's the other hat that I was talking about. I'm not sure when that hat.
That was under Runyon.
That was under Runyon, okay. I think the other one was the one that was from Dolan.
Yeah, I don't, but it's, I'm getting a little foggy.
It's kind of hard. I have some more pictures. Here's the ones they were doing firearms qualification. You can see that black hat. But then here, see, this is 1969 up there, but this one is the white.
Yeah, then they had that.
Yeah. So I don't really know exactly when that changed, but it's still kind of neat to see that that's what they wore. 1982 to 85. And then there's one of, well, I included the older picture of Bill Herlock there too. At Central School, Meet Your Town Day. So that was one of the things that like the chief wanted to do. But there's the uniform. And he had passed away this year. So I thought it was appropriate to put him in there. And then this was from 1999. And that's today. So that is today's uniforms there.
That's Chef Gannon at the end, second from,
Which one?
Chef Gannon, and then second from.
Oh, the sheriffs. Yeah, the county sheriffs. Yep. And there's Officer Chambrello in the middle.
Which uniforms were they voted best looking or something?
Oh,
Is that-
that was more, that was under Falzarano. Yeah. Oops, sorry, I'm going the wrong way. Oh, no. Can I go backwards? Oh, please go backwards.
Howard's personal uniform, we used to carry battery pack for slightly up. It was like. The
Hang on, I'm going to.
different uniform than everybody. Well, he became president of the Chiefs,
Okay.
president of the International Chiefs Association, which was another odd thing for anybody in a little department.
I think that would have been one of the uniforms that was best
Yeah.
dressed right there.
Yeah, okay. Like state troopers.
Yes, like the state troopers.
A lot of them all were similar.
Yeah.
All
Okay, so then I included this because I saw the one, you can actually see one in the display over in the town hall, and I thought that was the coolest thing, and then I found all the pictures. This is called a come along. I have no idea how that works. Is it just like it connects into it and it's a chain?
Yeah, but you got to keep tension on it. It looks like to keep them handcuffed. You got to pull them.
Yeah, so then there's the claw, which also looks to me like a not very nice thing.
Pull it up and it clamps around.
Oy.
That's the one, but that one was
Oh, darn it. I can't get this to do this. All right, so let me go back.
the
then.
chain is that went out a long time.
Yeah, that was 1940s. The claw was 1940s and 1950s. And then a thumb cuff from the 50s to the 70s. So they actually put thumbs in the thing, and then they thought,
We had a couple of them around.
Did they
tried
work?
71. Yeah, well, it doesn't, the guy's not going.
but he could hit ya.
Usually, you should put it, any handcuffing should be done in the back.
But you couldn't do thumb cuffs in the back.
You could.
Oh my gosh, that must have hurt.
Yeah, well, you never use them.
All right, and then the modern ones.
I made a New York City cop might have carried one of them.
Oh my gosh.
Guy who was all alone. Oh, it's Rose and Franco.
They were like.
I didn't see him this
"We
morning.
go to breakfast with
I
you."
didn't. See him.
All right, come on, Betty.
All right, so that's the restraints. And then we have the police vehicles. Now I was working on the last minute trying to get these up, so I may not have the dates on here. Let's see. I want to give you the dates for these pictures. Okay, so the one on the left is Officer Keelblock, 1956 in a Ford. The one on the right is Special Officer Arthur Szymanski, excuse me.
Yeah.
That's a 1968 Chrysler. The one on the left, oh, I put these out of order. That's also Officer Keelblock with the 1957 Pontiac.
Marty, the man who did the special one. Stolen.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the one on the right is the Special Officer Szymanski in front of the 1970 Pontiac. This, I don't know if I have this one, was from 1980. Yeah, I think so. And this was 1984.
Remember the guy next to the chief,
Where's the
from left, next to the Falderano, who was that's when Bobby was still a lieutenant. Right?
yeah, but is this, what's his
Oh,
name?
Jack,
Faenza?
yeah, Jack.
Yeah, okay. I was trying to remember. And there's
Now we're gonna go to the farm.
Captain Russo. And this was 1987.
I
And
remember him.
Yeah, I guess.
Was my neighbor.
He
was on the street.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there was McGruff, remember McGruff?
Yeah, this is my kids playing with golf during the.
Oh, yeah. There's gonna be a lot of Captain Russo in here. There he is. This was the 1984 patrol car. And it was the car which was the first of the new full-size patrol vehicles. Served from 68 to 94. But this is the diagonal emblem that they were using. That goes away after a little bit.
Take down, that's where I live, take down.
Yeah.
People everywhere from Sterling, I don't, never say no.
Long Hill Township. It took me a while, but I got onto it. Especially since it was known, parts of this were known as Long Hill, so I get it now, but.
Used to have well, he was lieutenant in North Plainfield, he was born on Essex Street. And there was a lady on the board, she was a Superior Court judge. And she was I'm trying to remember her name, she was on the township committee. And he always, the guy in North Plainfield used to tell her, and he was the attorney for North Plainfield, and she said, Sterling was the capital of New Jersey. You're fortunate to be on that township.
Okay. Okay. And then they went to the long, straight across. And I think this was 19, oh, I don't have the date on this one either. This was a Crown Vic. This was a Taurus. And then I was throwing up whenever I could find a picture. This is 2017.
Probably everybody, but that's.
Yeah, SUVs. Well, and then I include, okay, the severe weather response. I was trying to find a picture of the mobile emergency response thing that they got, because I have a picture of the old one they used to use, which was just a trailer. And I wanted to put them next to one another. But having this, I also included this. That's the police station in 2014.
That water comes up to my driveway.
And this is the police station in 2021.
And it was a Navy building, they had to have water. what I-
Yeah, yeah. And then there's 220, it's 2020, I mean. Okay, and then I put the police patches in because I thought maybe if I had some kids here, that'd be kind of cool. Hi.
That's a question. Is there gonna be the voting for the presidential election here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, if you're District 6 and 7.
In Sunrise, is where I am.
Yes, it'll be in here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You want to listen to the history of the police department? So this was the first patch, and I actually did see pictures of Erler and Rhine with this patch on. Oh, not Rhine, I'm sorry, Runyon. It was later, because it was introduced in 1954. Prior to that, there was no patch, that's right. Then they went to the seal for the township and the 5 stars representing the 5 communities, which is always a good trivia question for everybody, because people here don't remember all the communities other than Sterling, Millington, and Gillette.
State Park.
Homestead Park and Myersville, and yeah, those are the 2.
And people were very proud that we lived in Homestead Park.
Yep. Then they added the duck in 1971. Then they changed the lettering in 1976, and then they went to a unreadable one in 1982, and they fixed that in yellow lettering in 1987. And was the duck, I guess, for the Great Swamp? Was that?
Yeah, that was.
Okay,
That was, well, half of the town, I think, is actually,
Swamp,
do they say it's.
yeah. Changed to gold lettering in 92, and then they did an anniversary limited edition patch in 99 to celebrate the 75th anniversary of that first patch that was done in 54. A generic cloth badge that's sewn into the training and traffic shirts. And then they changed the background to black and updated the logo in 2014. And now they've changed the design completely, and it is a shield version with American flag, and gives the still gives the date back, but the courage and integrity. I didn't actually put in, they do have those 3 mottos. The courage is more, it's in the book of what they stand for and everything for the police force. I think that is all I have. Yeah, that's it.
Hey, I hope I helped you with something.
Yes, you did. All right, Roger, I'm gonna end this because I want to talk to this gentleman.
Okay, it was really good. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Oh, good. All right. Thanks.
Bye.
I. Stop this. I had 5 people